There are proposals for the contract that ends in November. That's still a ways out, and although we are beginning to talk to various divisions about what their priorities are. I will say, though, that our last two contracts, and especially the 2012 to 2016 contract, made enough progress toward parity with our comparator agencies on the West Coast that we will likely take a more incremental approach on the wages and benefits issues that predominated our negotiating strategy. In the last two contracts, and focus instead more so on those issues that were set aside over the last 8 years, which were working conditions, work rules, and management rights. Issues. So in doing that, we will look to see whether there are areas where we can make a compelling case, which is the standard. If the parties aren't able to settle and go to arbitration, can you make a compelling case for a change in the status quo? Those will be the things that we look for. But whatever our proposals turn out to be, I think we will look at relatively fewer proposals on the table than we did last time from our side of the table. I don't know, of course, what the ATU will bring to the table. In terms of particular obstacles, there are a couple of developments that we are watching within the ATU. They have a constitutional change, we understand, on the table, and a bylaw change that would, if passed, make it somewhat more difficult to reach a settled agreement. One is they are considering a constitutional change that would allow retirees to vote on a tentative agreement. Of the contract. Heretofore, retirees vote for officers but don't vote on the contract, and they would be able to vote on the contract if their retirement or pension benefits were at issue. But because retirees' benefits are linked directly to active employees' benefits, any benefits proposal would, if that constitutional change is made, would have them vote on the contract. And of course, we would expect that they would vote their personal interests. So that would be one obstacle that we're looking. A second obstacle that appears on the horizon is the ATU has generally brought a large bargaining team of, say, 20 to 23 people, but they have voted on the tentative agreement as one group. They have a proposal on the table to break their team into 3 different groups, one for transportation, one for maintenance, and one for other. And each one of those groups would have to vote in favor of the tentative agreement. So you would be switching from one vote for ratification to 3, which makes it more difficult. And then, of course, that makes it somewhat more difficult to target proposals on issues with a particular area of the bargaining unit, because they would tend to have, the other 2 groups would tend to have a Me Too sort of view on whatever proposal. So those 2 developments we're watching closely and could be somewhat more difficult to reach a tentative agreement.
And do you have a sense of when those should be determined?
We understand those have to be approved by the International. We thought that they were going to be presented to the membership meetings in March. We haven't heard what the status of those votes are.
Thanks.